Are you a fan of Mary Steenburgen? Because this movie is totally... Oh, you know what? Are you also a fan of plaid flannel? Because you have to check out... Oh, you know what? One more thing. Are you a fan of wigs? Because have I got the movie for you. Jamie?
Yeah.
Let's go watch Dead of Winter.
Welcome to another episode of Good Times, Great Movies. This is the podcast wherein we will speak of a movie from the 1980s. Could have been a fabulous movie. Could have been a not so fabulous movie. It doesn't matter. We're going to watch it, right?
Or it could have been Dead of Winter.
Could have been in the dead of winter. You could have been dead of winter.
I really put a kink in your introduction by jumping in and almost mispronouncing dead.
Dead.
The first word of the title. Oh, man.
Well, that's what you do, DP. Doug McCambridge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should introduce yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Too.
And then there's
me. Boy. You know, sometimes I do feel like every time we do this, it's the first time we've done this.
I think that makes us unique. I think it shows that we're off the cuff. We're unrehearsed completely.
Completely. And yet we take insanely intricate notes. I mean...
I do. I have so many notebooks.
Yeah, I was going to say, I do. And I've seen your notes. You hold them up and yours are great. Like, you handwrite yours. People, if you don't understand, Jamie handwrites her notes. And sometimes there's arrows pointing up to other things. Sometimes
need visuals.
She draws pictures of what is happening in the movie.
I do. Actors' faces, bullet points. I have some bullet points in here.
Oh, you do? Okay. I want to know, how many Steenburgens did you draw on your notes?
Well, once she cuts her, like, I like Steve, part of her shtick is her curly hair. And it's a dang shame that the actress the role she's chosen to play as the actress who gets the role. That's a weird. Okay, let's get into this because you're auditioning for a role in a movie that basically is just in this man's like red flags are going up everywhere.
This is the most Harvey Weinsteinist of movie. Like that is immediately what I thought. I was like, you can't.
What are you
just
doing?
Say, oh, you want me to come to some weirdo house in the middle of the woods and audition? Like, we will videotape you and then send it to like, this guy's not even the director.
No.
I guess he's the producer or something?
Well, that's what he's supposed to be, I guess.
Well, no. I know it's not a real movie, Jamie. I watched it. Like, I know the twist, the one of many twists and turns that this movie has in store.
And not only that, she lost her finger.
Oh, that is terrifying. I have to say I was surprised by many things that this movie did. Like this, to me, this seems like just a step above, and not even really a step above a made-for-TV movie. Like, this is what a Lifetime movie was in the 80s, right? Like, I could see this as a Lifetime movie now.
Well, was it based off of a real story? Because I think that's what makes it more Lifetime-y.
Jamie, just asked me if this was based on a true story?
Like
there's no way. I didn't do the research. There's no way.
There were two sisters. Like, and what is the true story? So is it the doctor guy that's weird? Or is it that there's these two sisters that are twins? And
okay. Well, because there are points where the doctor explains everything.
But does he really?
He does, but he's the least interesting character in this movie. And anytime he talked, I was.
But he's the strongest. She's the hardest. It's the hardest for him to. Right?
When he got out of that chair at the end, I was like, is this all a lie? He's not really paralyzed.
No, he does limp up to her, and he uses a stick.
I mean,
but
not
he's
paralyzed,
still.
but he needs a wheelchair.
Yeah.
This movie's crazy.
P.S.
All right.
Never trust a person in an electric wheelchair, especially an old man in a big creepy house that rolls around his big creepy house in an
If
electric
movies
wheelchair.
have taught us anything, it is don't trust
Yeah.
anyone in an electric wheelchair. And what about that piano that's hooked up to his heart? What is that? This movie is amazing. All right, so
And at the end, when it starts to play, she just looks at it because she's like, I know he knows because his heart's beating fast.
it's all right. So let's talk about this movie. So this movie is called Dead of Winter. It's directed by Arthur Penn, who made a lot of great movies. And it stars Mary Steenburgen, Roddy McDowall, and a bunch of other people.
Not too many other people. She's the only female in it. And she's all three females. There's three females in it, and she's all of them.
And the one is just a corpse. The one is just a dead person.
Well, no, is that the one, technically, that's
at the
in
beginning?
the beginning?
You're right, at the beginning, yeah. I gotta tell you, that beginning, I was hooked.
I know. I was like, what's this mystery all about? Bag of money. Yep.
The moment a finger came up and like some garden shears came out, I was like, whoa, this is not the movie I thought this was going to be.
Did you see, too, the billboard in the beginning says lend a hand?
Oh, no.
Did you catch that?
I did not.
Yeah.
All right. I do have to say that Klaus Kinski was supposed to play the doctor, and he would have made it insanely creepier than this guy. Who
this guy was a
he's not
bore.
great. He is.
Yeah.
All right. So this movie opens.
Yeah.
A mysterious woman whose face we don't see.
She wears a giant hat.
She's dressed like Carmen Sandiego. She's got like the big hat down in her face. She goes to like a police checkpoint. She has a big bag full of money that she has to cover up.
And she's conveniently left it open with the money exposed, and so she throws a scarf over it as she goes through the checkpoint. Right?
Mm-hmm. I love how the officer asks her for her ID. She does not show him her face, and he gives her ID right back. It was like, all right, stay sober. And I didn't know why he told her to stay sober. I did not know it was New Year's Eve until about 2 minutes later.
That's right. It is New Year's Eve. Yes, stay sober, my faceless friend.
When she's accosted by two drunks in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, she's just parked, right? She just finds...
Yeah, she finds like a payphone, and she parks her car, and then people just start beating on the window like, whoa, yeah, Happy New Year.
And blowing the like party horns and stuff in her face. Yep.
And then there's a wide shot of just nothing. I don't know where these people came from.
I don't know where she is. Yeah.
She gets out of the car in her hat and trench coat and goes into the payphone and calls a number, and then you hear like voice ADR, like, if he's not here in 5 minutes, I'm gone. Now, we do see that somebody is following her.
Right.
Very scary. And we actually get like a POV shot from the other car of her in the phone booth. So she gets back in the car and then I guess is strangled. Like in the rearview mirror, we see somebody pop up.
Yep.
And then strangle her, like pull her into the back seat. She's like hanging over the front seat into the back.
Oh, yeah.
Finally goes limp. And we see the person who strangled her, like, is it her ring finger that they pry up?
Yeah.
And then they bring in these big metal cutters to chop her finger off. And that's the cold open to this movie. And I was like, this is great. Mary Steenburgen just got her finger cut off. I can't wait to see what she's going to do next because she's the star of the movie.
That's all she is her. Yep.
Well, then we travel to New York City. I think it's just Ottawa, but we're in New York City, or maybe the establishing shot is New York. But the guy on the radio says it's 40 below outside.
It's freezing. It's freezing. There's no need to travel outside, right? Doesn't he say that?
You would instantly freeze, I think. 40 degrees below zero in New York? Has that ever happened?
I don't know. Well, it's the dead of winter. It
really
the dead
It
of
really
winter.
is.
What happened to her boyfriend's leg?
I don't. It's a mystery that
we don't know.
But I do have to say, I kind of like that because it, in a weird way, it makes them feel real. Like, it makes it feel like he has a life. Like, it's never explained. Nobody ever references that he has a broken leg. So we assume it's been broken for a long time.
Well, they do cut the cast off at the end, right?
Yeah, somehow. Her weird brother.
That's a weird thing, too. So our setup for her, or for... This is still our same actress, but she's a different character, right? She's this...
Yes.
Long curly hair. Do we know she didn't look the same?
No, she's not dressed the same. There's no reference to bags of money. She has all of her fingers, so we know it's a different character.
Right. She's an actress, though. She's an auditioning actress. So her brother lives with them. They live in a loft, so he basically lives like in a bunk bed above them, or sleeps in a bunk bed above them.
Yeah. And then they went out in the living room like, why doesn't this guy just sleep on the couch? Like, why is he sleeping literally above their bed?
So you kind of get the feeling that maybe they're not happy. Maybe the broken leg has something to do with that. Like, there's some tension between them, right? Because when she finally goes off, so she gets this audition, right?
Well, she's very upset with him because he is a photographer, I guess. And he didn't, like, print out the new headshots of her. Like... she's mad at him because she has to go on an audition and she doesn't have her new headshots, and he just is like, I guess I forgot, whatever. And she's really upset by this. This is her.
Yeah, this is her career.
Yes.
Yeah, and he's supposed to be helping her, and he's clearly not. Can
we just say, and I don't know if you recognized her boyfriend.
No.
He's the dad from Boy Meets World.
Oh, it is?
Yes. Yep, it's the dad from Boy Meets World.
He is a photographer, we know, because doesn't he take, like, an insane amount of photos of her?
Oh, right? When she's packing up. Yeah, after she gets this role, when she's packing up, it's just...
Yeah, like stupid. Yeah.
And that's the moment she left and he's taking pictures, and that's the moment I was like, this is her last known photo, clearly. And also, they're talking, and so much of this movie, I think, was just, all the voices were dumped in later at times. And when they're arguing, like, in their little kitchen area, they keep saying things like, I'm so ticked. You're not ticked. I can't believe how ticked off you are. And I kept watching their mouths, and I was like, am I watching a censored version of this movie? Or are they cutting words out? But I don't think so. But there's no cursing in this movie. Nobody curses. It's a little bit violent. I don't even know what this is rated.
I don't know what it's rated either. There is some mild violence, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, he does take a envelope opener to the throat.
Yeah,
one guy.
Right. And we do spend a lot of time with dead bodies in this movie.
True.
So that is somewhat disturbing.
Yeah.
This would be a movie in the old TV guide that would have the AC for the rating, which meant adult content.
Oh, yes.
Which I always thought, like, meant, it's going to be lots of sex and stuff. But it just meant, like, kids won't understand this.
Oh,
go ahead.
No, she goes to this audition, right? Before he takes a million pictures of her, she goes to this audition for a movie that, allegedly, that the actress has left. There's an actress that was in the role, and she has left, so they're looking for someone to replace her.
Right.
And she happens to look a lot like the actress.
Yes, and Roddy McDowall is conducting this audition, and he is flipping out. He loves it. He's like,
oh, yeah.
Oh, your hair, it's disgusting. Does your hair go up?
Yeah.
And did you see, throughout this movie, she is dressed like a crazy person. Did you see what she's wearing to this? She's wearing a sweater that, like, goes down to her knees, and then a skirt that goes the rest of the way down. And she's got a belt, but the belt's like down around her knees. It's very strange.
It's 80s fashion.
Jamie, you lived in LA for quite a while. And I know you did some show busy type things, but I don't know. Did you ever go on auditions?
Yes.
You did? Okay.
I hated them, and I was terrible at them.
Do they hold them in dance studios? Because there were mirrors, and, like, the dance bar was there, and he had a little desk in the middle.
Yeah, I think it would depend on like, obviously, if you're auditioning for something that would have you dance, you would dance in a dance studio.
Sure. I was ready for her to dance. I was like, we're going to see Mary Steenburgen dance. This is going to be great.
She's going to boogie. There is some red flags, though.
Really? Really?
That
you
happened
think so?
along the way as an actress that I would maybe reconsider the role. But
did it start with the fact that the moment he talked to her, I guess he made up his mind and saw nobody else?
Nobody
and
else.
then took her to lunch, I guess?
Did
I don't
he
know if
take
that's
her to
normal.
lunch? I thought they
They went to lunch immediately.
Oh, they did.
That's when he explained to her about the other actress.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
That's right.
And the fact that she didn't have to do a monologue or perform or say anything. She just had to show up, hold her hair up. You got the part.
And you're it. You're the one that we need. And she was ready. She was so ready. Because when they first record that first thing that they have her record, which is the only time, well, because slowly after that she does realize shit's fucked. But she
catches on immediately. And I was like, well, where's this movie going? There's so much of it left.
They only have her record the one thing that's like, I guess it's like a plea to, or a message to her sister, right?
It's one little monologue. It's like 5 sentences, maybe. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but none of this happens at the rehearsal.
No,
he tells her, "We got to go upstate, where you will perform a little monologue. We will record it. We'll send it to the director. You will get $3,000 just for doing this. And if you get the role, which I know you're going to get the role, you get another $9,000.
Yeah. She kind of thinks about it for a minute. And again, I think that we're meant to believe that she's maybe a little unhappy in her living circumstances. Lives with her brother and her broken up boyfriend. And maybe, besides it being a role as an actress, the money's going to be pretty good.
Right. And also, for all we know, this is her breakout role anyway.
Yeah. For all she knows, she's been waiting, right?
I think she says she was on a soap for a little while or something, right? When she's talking about what she had done. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't seem to be a whole lot.
No.
This is when her boyfriend takes a bunch of pictures of her when she is wearing, and she wears this for a long time, plaid on plaid. She wears black and white plaid on top of red and white plaid.
It's the dead of winter. You got to plaid up, all right?
I understand that.
Yeah.
Mary Steenburgen, she's such an... I really like her. I really do. But I guess I really didn't know that she was a thing. She made a ton of stuff in the 80s. I didn't know who she was then. Yeah, she worked all through the 90s. I feel like I discovered her when she was an older lady.
Oh, yeah.
So she, even in this, and she's in her early 30s, I was like, she looks old.
She does have because of her look overall, I think, because of her facial features and everything.
She's so crazy thin. When she's fighting with herself, I was like, this looks like 2 skeletons fighting.
And between what they dress her in, because everything is super, like you said, really long shirts and long, between what they dress her in and how they dress her, and sometimes you're just like, well, she's got to eat a meal, bud. No, but I know what you mean. She's got a very frail sort of body frame. Yeah. And
he's got a broken leg, and it comes to nothing. I don't know. Whatever. He's got a broken leg.
Eager to leave, right? She's like, this is my role, and I have to do it. She's almost egging him on, and he doesn't, he just keeps taking pictures. She's like, what are you going to do? I have to leave. This is what I do as an actress. I travel. I have this role. It's what I do. She's kind of annoyed, she doesn't even say, about her brother. She leaves. The brother comes home.
The brother's like,
gone.
Hey, I don't know if I'll be here when you get back. And she just slams the door. Yeah. She's not even listening to him. She is out. And you're talking about red flags. And one of the best red flags is later in the movie when her boyfriend tries to call the number that I guess Roddy McDowall gave her.
Yes.
Wouldn't you call that number before you go? Wouldn't you call, just to see if somebody answers? Just to make sure the operator doesn't say, that's not a real area code.
There's a lot. How come he doesn't get his crappy car and drive her to this thing? Why does she take a ride with this
Listen,
man?
he's got a broken leg. He's got a broken leg.
Oh yeah, I guess you can't
Jamie,
drive her.
he's got a broken leg. And do you think her brother apparently cannot get his act together. I don't know what his deal is. I wouldn't have him drive me.
How many gas stations have you been to where they give out goldfish?
My favorite line of this movie, my favorite part of this movie, because I was like, I better pay attention to this. This goldfish thing must be super important. And why is he giving away goldfish?
Do you spend more than $13?
Does he have a surplus of goldfish on his hands?
Maybe in the summer he runs the local carnival, and in the winter he's got the extra goldfish.
Yeah, or maybe he's like a ringer. He just goes to a carnival and cleans up, and he's just got bags of goldfish sitting around. Yeah.
You buy a certain amount of gas at this
They
station.
stop at the gas station.
Well, I love that she uses it later when she can't remember how far she's gone on the interstate, or she doesn't know. She doesn't even know where she is to tell anybody how to find her, except that it's near a gas station that gives away fish.
Yep. And I love it.
Which I guess is a good enough clue.
I loved it when the guy walks up and hands her boyfriend a bag of goldfish, and they're like, "Yeah, got it."
That's it. Yeah.
It is the dumbest thing. You could have done a million other things. You could have had a million other goofy telltale signs that they're on the right track in this movie, and they chose the most insane way possible.
Well, and then I do like when she brings the goldfish into the house and they pour it into a wine glass.
Yep. And what are these fish eating? It's not like they gave her fish food. It's not. I need a scene where she's like, Roddy McDowell, we got to stop off at the pet store. I need to get fish food
I need
for
those
this guy.
fish flakes. Yeah. These
So-
guys need to survive.
So she finally gets to this house after they get goldfish and gas. And there's an old man who is wheelchair bound, automatic wheelchair.
Mm-hmm.
And they listen to an automated piano, and everything about this is creepy. But
she's thinking it's wonderful, right?
Oh, at every turn, they just have to say things like, "We're not monsters," and she's like, "Oh, I guess you guys are fine. Oh, the telephone's out. Oh, all right. Oh, it's still out. Oh, the car won't start. And even later on, when she finds everything out, they're like, we're not going to kill you. And she's like, oh, what a relief. What is wrong with you, lady?
The house itself, when they give her a tour of it, is creepy enough. And that no other, so she's the only role in this movie is her. And now you have to stay here at this house. Things aren't adding up, sister.
Oh, no, not at all. I do have to say, though, I really, for as weird as it is to have a scene in the movie where they give her a tour of the house that lasts way too long, I kind of appreciate it because too often I watch movies where, like teenagers go to a haunted house to stay and they're murdered one by one, and I never know where I am in the house. Like, it was kind of neat to know all of the
you were oriented now, yeah.
I was 100% because when she went into the kitchen later, I'm like, oh, they can't see her from the living room. She's in the kitchen. I know how all of this is set up.
I know the layout, and I know it well. I know where the polar bear is and the chess set.
The polar bears.
Bears.
That guy freaks out about mice, too.
Oh, yeah. Well, they have them in the house.
Yeah.
I guess eating away at the corpse upstairs. Right?
Ooh. Oh,
Doesn't one come...
I didn't even think about that. Yeah. Yeah, that's gross.
No.
So the phone doesn't work. He has a wall of this house which is adorned with headshots, which I really like. So the other actress left the project, left the film.
She had a nervous breakdown.
Again, and she will
red
be replacing her. Right.
Red flag.
Yes. And she sees a picture of her, and she's like, oh my God, this woman looks just like me.
Yeah, could be my sister.
Except for the crazy wig. And she's handed a script that night. This is her first night. She just got here.
Well, but he does put some pressure on her, and it is a creepy moment when he's like, you're going to do this one time, and this has to be absolutely perfect. It has to be amazing. And, no pressure bit. And this is the only thing you have to do perfect, but it has to be amazing.
I wish, and not to spoil what happens later, but we're going to. If you've never listened to the show before, we will. So if you're really interested in this movie, stop this now and go watch it. I wish they had said something like, now, you're going to have to do this in a Southern accent. Because how could her voice possibly sound like this completely other woman?
Doesn't she say when she meets the other, like, listen to me, do I sound like her? She says it later when she sees
like,
somebody.
Oh, you're just tricking me. And I'm like, why would she trick you on the videotape, though? Like, that doesn't make any sense at all.
A lot about this movie doesn't make any sense at all.
Roddy McDowall in this movie is like, sort of like the butler to this old man, like the caregiver to this old man, like a weird... sniveling.
We don't ever really find out why, but like even at one point she says he really does seem to care about you or like you, and he's like, really? You think so? You think he does? So he's really like brainwashed by him. It's a weird relationship.
Yeah, because he says to her, the doctor really likes you.
Yeah,
and he doesn't like everyone, and she, and again. How she doesn't come away from this conversation going, oh my God, I got to get out of here. Because she's like, oh, you know what? I bet he likes you. And he's like, really?
Yeah.
Do you think he likes me? She's like, I'm sure he does. And the whole time, like, she doesn't give him a weird look. Like, why are you asking that? She's totally into convincing him that they must be friends.
Yeah. She's like, you ought to know. You got to know this, right?
Right. Then we watch Roddy McDowall cut onions after sharpening a knife for a while.
Yeah. Then that happens. Because the sharper the knife, you don't cry. No tears.
Yep.
At least that's what the doctor says, right?
Well, he is his doctor. We find that out later. That's how they got to know each other. So Roddy McDowall's not right.
Is that how...
Please ask me questions.
So was he a doctor that was, because he says later when they say, when she calls the cops and the cops come to the house and he's like, look, she's a patient I'm treating. So was he treating the sister as a patient?
He was. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So but the sister was still killed by the other sister.
Yes, because, you know what? Let's get into it when he explains it, because I did have to back up and listen to that again because, again, this old man kind of put me to sleep, and I'd zone out for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then after that monologue, I was like, oh, I'll bet that was important.
That.
I better listen to this again.
Yeah.
So again, we said that the car won't start.
Yes.
She can't get
snowstorm comes in. Yeah.
Right. She can't get into town to call home to make them or make her boyfriend make sure that he knows she got there.
Right.
And then Roddy McDowall gives her a makeover. He cuts her hair. He colors it. He's stitching wardrobe too.
Yeah. I mean, he's got the time. What else has he got to do, right?
I guess he does everything. He serves dinner.
Yeah.
He works the snowblower. We see that.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. I like the night before too. He gives her a cup of warm milk before.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's very,
He's a jack of all trades.
Yeah, and he's very in tune with everybody's needs. He only really has to take care of two people, so it's well within his means, I guess. So she has to do her scene, which is just a monologue. Like Roddy McDowall. Like at first, I thought he would be reading with her or something. No, it's just her talking, and not all that long. But she's had the night to prepare, and she is spot on.
She's ready.
It takes a while.
Well, her first,
Yeah, Roddy McDowall's fucking everything up, and he's like knocking
the lights over. It's a little awkward,
over.
Yeah, and he is standing he's not reading with her, but he stands awkwardly close to her at first, and even she's
down next, like below her, staring up at her, and
she's even like, "Are you gonna stay there the whole time?"
I love how every time they do a take, he has to cross in front of her, clap his hands in front of her face, and then cross back in front of her.
Another sign. That would be another red flag to me. Like this production team doesn't even have one of those real clapper things. Like it's just the dude going like, and even like the first time she goes, I'm sorry, did you say action? Did you? And he's like, oh, action? Sorry, action.
Everything about this is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
But she, for the performance that she needs to give, she gives her all. It's very convincing.
They watch that tape. They love it. Like, it is Celebration City after they watch her deliver those 3 lines.
Yeah, she did what she needed to do. The video was put into the mail, right?
It's nighttime, and we see Roddy McDowall drive away. Ooh, the car does work. Mm-hmm. And he slides the tape into a mail slot on a mansion. And we see someone watching him from an upstairs window.
Someone with a cigarette?
Yeah, but then we cut to inside this house that we've never been inside, which looks ultra modern. Like the TV's built into the wall, and so is the VCR.
Someone does watch it.
Right. We see a woman's hand put the tape in, a woman smoking a cigarette. Mm-hmm. So from the back, so we don't see who this woman is. And we see... What is her name in this movie?
She's got 3 names. It depends who she is.
Who is the woman at the house with the doctor?
That's Jewel.
No, Julie was the dead actress.
Oh, I don't know.
Katie.
Okay.
McGovern.
Okay.
So we see Katie's wonderful performance.
Yeah.
This woman watches this great performance. Then it goes to static. It goes to snow, and then the doctor comes up.
Oh, yeah, with another message.
He says something like, so you can clearly see she's alive. She's not dead. Contact me, or whatever he says.
The game is on, right? Basically?
Right, the game is on. I think he does say that. Yeah, he mentions that, like, the woman, and he's referring to the woman at the beginning of the movie who was strangled in the car.
Right.
He says she wasn't killed, she was just unconscious. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Dun dun. The next day, Roddy McDowall's working a snowblower.
Well, somebody's got to get rid of all that dank snow.
No, Roddy McDowall's removing snow, and the old man has to sit outside with him and, like, watch him snowblow the driveway.
Well, he's got to make sure that the job gets done right, I guess. Nobody's watching her, though.
Right.
Doesn't she find the Polaroids now of the dead women? Or the dead woman?
Keep those.
And again, red flag. Get out of Dodge. Get out of there.
Yeah,
right?
Because even their excuse, which is, you know what? We told you that she had a breakdown. She did have a breakdown.
Right.
But she ended up committing suicide.
Yeah.
Did you then take pictures of the body before the police showed up?
So what is this? What is this?
She is totally fine with this.
Yeah. She just kind of is like, meh.
She's like, oh, suicide is a bad thing.
She's starting to get a little suspicious, but there's really nothing she could do. So, you're like you said, her boyfriend has tried to call the disconnected number. Oh, isn't this when we discover that not only is the doctor's heart connected somehow to the piano, but he plays chess without ever sitting at the chess table? Doesn't he direct his...
Yes.
Right?
Yep. I like how he says... She's like, oh, why don't you play chess? And he's like, it's because I'm lazy, as he's lifting weights.
Yes.
But the whole piano chess remote control was great because the piano starts playing and she's like, oh, why did that happen? And I thought, oh, it's on a timer. That's a good idea. And he goes, you see this remote? And I went, oh, it's on a remote control. That's an even better idea. And the real explanation is crazy.
It's connected to my heart.
It's connected to my heart. And when I get worked up, piano music must soothe him, so
creepy
he doesn't
piano
die.
music, mind you.
It is creepy piano music.
And again, lazy. Not that he will sit and play the piano to soothe himself.
Finally, my God, it takes until she finds her driver's license burning in the fire for her to realize that something is wrong.
Well, she sees her driver's license burning in the fire, goes upstairs to her wallet, sees all her ID, her credit cards, everything is missing, and now she's like, oh no.
It's not even then, because she has to go see that the phone cord has been cut.
Oh, yeah. She pulls the cord up, and then she's like, and then once she realizes it, she does try to escape, right? She goes out for an intense run into the snowy woods. She doesn't even know where she is, though.
No. I love how she wraps herself in the tiniest shawl ever that was actually just laying over a table that had a lamp on it. And she throws it around her shoulders like, this will protect me in the 40 below weather that I'm about to
Right.
enter.
More than 40 below now because there's been a storm in
Right,
the midst of the
and they
chill.
are in upstate New York. It's even colder up there.
It's real, yeah. And she doesn't make it very far.
No.
She takes off running, and it's intense, the run, and she feet stop her, basically. His assistant's feet, right?
Feet,
Because the doctor isn't what...
feet stop her.
Wow.
Yeah, she comes upon Roddy McDowall, and he's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
the doctor wants to see you."
Yeah.
And they give her some hot chocolate that is totally drugged.
She accepts it, of course, and she stumbles her way upstairs,
This
right?
drugged out scene lasts forever.
Well, I
she
love
stacks all the furniture in her room against the door in the wooziest state possible.
I don't know how she does it. Because think about it now. She's been roofied, essentially, or she's been drugged with this hot cocoa, but she summons the energy to move all of the furniture, and the room's not very big, and I don't see that furniture anywhere in the room later or before that.
No.
But she piles these furniture in front of the door because she knows that she's screwed, but at the same time, she doesn't want them coming in her room. So she, I guess, figures this will stop them. And then when she's done, I love it, she just passes out and knocks over a lamp.
Yep.
She's like, got it!
And I love it how when she's on her way up the stairs, like stumbling all over the place, the doctor so mildly is like, if you don't trust us, there's a deadbolt on your door. You might want to use that. But it doesn't matter, Jamie. She could deadbolt that door and pile things in front of it.
Oh, this is so
because
crazy.
there is a terrifying two-way mirror in that room.
Mm-hmm.
And as she passes out, we see it open, and Roddy McDowall steps out with clippers.
Oh!
And she wakes up to one of her two fish being dead, and she's missing a finger.
Well, she's rested, and then she rolls over, and her hand is bandaged. I love it. Because she doesn't realize, it's not like she wakes up and like a finger is just laying there.
No, it's under the pillow.
Yeah! And wrapped! He like, not only cut it, but then he like wrapped it up for her all nice, like, and then she unwraps it to see that there's a finger. She's like, "What's up?" And she lets out, "Whoa, what a scream."
Wow, yeah, if you ever just wanted
to
hear Mary Steenburgen just scream, like awkwardly scream several times in a room alone while the other two downstairs kind of laugh at her.
Yeah, they're kind of like, "Oh, I guess she did."
Does Roddy McDowall appear to be packing for some sort of move? Like he's taking pictures off the wall. There are boxes.
Oh, yeah.
Is that their end game to like get something, which I'm still not sure what they're supposed to get, and then move away? I don't know. It's never made clear. It doesn't matter.
No, there's lots of fuzziness in this as far as the plot of this movie. But she finds the hidden mirror, right? The mirror, and she sees that it's a door.
Immediately, it's like the next day. It's like that. We just learned there was a two-way mirror, so she learns it immediately.
Exactly. So I guess she had the energy just to move all the furniture the night before. She didn't have the energy to see if the room maybe was compromised.
Right.
But when she goes up to the attic, she finds a phone. There's a phone upstairs.
The only working phone in the house is in a creepy attic. I love it.
And just attached, it's a wall phone too. So she calls her boyfriend from there, and she tells him the whole story. She's hysterical, right? And tells him, and I love.
She doesn't even speak in real words. It's just, it's just fragments of words.
They're gonna kill me. They're gonna kill me, and it's upstate, and it's far, and they're gonna kill me. They're gonna kill me.
It's so wonderful, and his reaction on the other end is great because the whole time he's like, "What? What are you saying? What are you talking about?" And the moment she goes, "They cut off my finger," and goes, "What happened? Call the police."
Yeah. And I love it. She's like, You can't, please just don't hang up. Don't hang up. I need you to be on the other line. He's like, no, you need to hang up from me now, and you should call the police.
And the whole time I'm thinking, why isn't he calling the police?
That's what I thought. Why doesn't he? Listen, babe, I love you and all, but you should really take care of business, hang up, and call the cops. This might be my last phone call because they're going to kill me. Well, then use it to call the police. What are you calling me for?
And finally, he's like, I'm just hanging up. Like, she's not going to hang up and call the cops.
He's like, you're hysterical. Right. Just call the cops.
So up in this creepy attic, also, she does call the police, actually.
Yeah,
she's like trying to describe where she is, and in the middle of this conversation, she finds the corpse
of the
actress who was murdered at the beginning of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And just then, Roddy McDowall catches her. He pulls the line out of the phone, and she's taken downstairs to have her finger treated, like stitched and wrapped again.
Oh, and he puts some kind of goo on it, right?
I don't think he's painting her face. I'm sure it's like iodine or something.
Yeah.
But this is when the doctor explains.
Oh.
So there were two sisters. It's like a fairy tale. There were two sisters. One sister married into money and then killed someone to keep the money. I'm assuming her husband.
Okay.
The other sister, an actress, found out about this and went crazy. Went to this doctor, and he says he prescribed blackmail. Like, he's not a great doctor. He's not a great doctor. So I guess he told her, hey, get a ton of money from your sister because you know all this stuff. We can split it or whatever. But she was murdered before the drop. Roddy McDowall, though, was following her, came upon her dead body, and brought her back to the doctor, brought the corpse back to the doctor.
So who killed her?
The sister must have hired some guy to kill her. Because the sister, again, is fooled into thinking that she's still alive. So it's not like she was the one that committed the murder.
She was the... Right.
So that's it. So they're like, listen, hey, we know we cut off your finger, but we just need you for this little job. It's fine. Don't worry about it. And after we get our money, I guess you're free to go. And she kind of is okay with this, but she's woozy. Like, they drug her up, too.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, she is kind of like, kind of indifferent. She doesn't.
But the police show up. This is the moment the police show up.
The doctor is like, oh, no, everything's fine here, right? And he tells them the story about how, but now
she's nuts.
The doctor's like, she needs to go to her room. And then she freaks out and is like, no, it is me. She doesn't ever, she does still think they're going to kill her. She does have that feeling, right? Because she yells it to the cop, says, no, you can't leave me here alone with them. And the doctor's just like, she's not okay. But she keeps insisting that there's the body upstairs in the attic that they have to go look at. And so they're like, well, let's check the attic. And the doctor's like, no, I don't think that's necessary. I mean, she's clearly just a crazy person. Why would you need to check my attic? This is why
I don't quite understand what happens just the next scene. Because the doctor's like, nope, you don't need to go up there. Everything's fine. Finally he's like, okay, Roddy McDowall, take the officer to the attic. And Roddy McDowall's like, what? You want me to what? What are we doing?
Mm-hmm.
And later we see that the corpse has been moved to her bed. So I'm like, why were they both nervous about taking the cops to the attic?
Maybe the Roddy did it just in time. I don't know.
He just found her up there, and they were tending to her wounds. I don't know how that corpse got moved.
They get a quick or the doctor jumped out of his wheelchair, which he's known to do, and was able-bodied.
I was so waiting for one of those little chairs that go up the stairs automatically.
Oh,
I needed one of those so bad, because when she ran upstairs at the end, I was thinking, oh, she's totally safe. How's he gonna get?
Yeah, how's he gonna get her? Yeah. Oh, but he does.
He does.
They take the cops do get a decent tour of the upstairs. There's a bear trap or something. What's that contraption that he later gets stuck in?
It's a bear trap. It's a bear trap. Yep. And also the one cop's upstairs with Roddy McDowell not finding a dead body. The other one's downstairs with the doctor. The doctor again tells him this story about this chessboard. And the doctor, if I can isolate this and put it at the end of the episode, I will. Because the doctor says, do you play chess? And the cop mumbles something completely inaudible. He just like goes, blah, 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 blah. And the doctor responds, oh, you'll have to stop by and play sometime. Like, what was that exchange? But the cops don't believe her. He even has papers.
No.
Like, he's got papers, which are
With
the actresses.
The sisters. Yeah.
And they say, all right, Looney Tunes, everything's fine here. We're going to go.
And so they do. And now she's like, oh, no, right? Oh, no, now she goes to lay in her bed in her sadness, and she's next to a dead body.
And we talked about it a little before we started recording. This corpse looks like garbage. Like, it looks... I don't know how long this woman is supposed to have been dead. It looks like a melted Mary Steenburgen, kind of.
Yeah, it looks like a very... tired, overworked,
very waxy,
brutally
too.
beaten.
Yeah. Brutally beaten. It looks ridiculous. And now she's stuck in bed with this thing. During this end, and we're near the end of this, it does cut back and forth sometimes to her boyfriend and her brother, like, driving.
Oh, yeah, they're trying to find her. Because
she did know, like, some road names and stuff.
She knew Pine was in the road name, and she knew she went over, like, 3 covered bridges or something.
Just one covered bridge.
That's what they're...
Because her brother's like, there's only 3 covered bridges in this whole state.
Oh, that's what
it is. And there's one on our way.
But they know what they really have to find. It's the Goldfish gas station.
Right, exactly. Yes.
Oh, what is this when she's tripping out and everything's in slow motion?
And it looks like a lion's skin is going to eat Roddy McDowell. Yeah. I don't know. It goes on for way too long.
It's just a trippy scene that happens where they all talk in slow motion to her.
Well, yeah, because she wakes up, and she wakes up downstairs, so I guess somebody moved her downstairs. But the rich sister of the actress, also played by Mary Steenburgen, in a goofy hat, is there. So there's evil Mary Steenburgen, good Mary Steenburgen, the doctor, and Roddy McDowell, all talking in slow motion over her. So the doctor's making a deal, and the deal now is he will hand over Katie to the evil sister in exchange for something, because she gives him a key to a locker.
Oh, well, in the beginning.
Is it the money?
Very, very beginning.
It's got to be the money, right?
Because that's, I think so. Yeah.
All right. So I guess the whole thing is he's like, listen, you can kill her. You give us the money. The end. Everything's great.
That's all
we need. The doctor's pretty sharp. Right. Like, he's got this figure. Like, it's an insane plan, but it's actually working. This is when her boyfriend goes to the gas station and the guy tries to give him goldfish. Oh. They know.
And all of a sudden the light bulb goes off between the brother and the boyfriend, and they're like, we're on it.
They know they're on their way.
Close.
And back at the house, Katie escapes out the window into the snow because Roddy McDowell comes up and he's like, oh no, I guess we didn't lock the windows.
Right? The window's open and she's gone. And although he caught up to her last time she tried to escape, he goes to chase after her, and there's no trace of her.
It's
where
pretty
is
great.
She? I don't know.
The doctor's like, where is she? Right? And he's like, I don't know. Here's her scarf. This is all I got.
Yeah. I don't know. She's quick this time. Not a footprint or anything. So they go out to really try to find her, but she really didn't escape out the window. Nope. Dun, dun, dun. She goes downstairs to confront her sister.
I think she just tries to sneak past her first, but it's not working.
Oh, yeah. So she has to confront her, basically, right?
Yeah.
And this is when she tells her, listen to my voice. I'm not her. Just listen to me. But does the sister buy it?
No, she just wants to kill her. She's like, oh, you always the actress. Like,
yeah, that's right. That's right. Oh, P.S. We forgot to mention how earlier mean Mary Steenburgen tries to kill the doctor.
Oh, yeah. She's about to
when he's turning around mixing her drink. Yes. Yeah. But
then
yeah.
Roddy McDowall
and
comes
then she's
back.
got to
yeah.
stop. Mm-hmm.
I still have questions about the end of this movie, and I want to talk about it.
Okay.
But-
Well, then let's get
So,
to it.
If you want to watch Mary Steenburgen fight herself, this is a great scene
Yeah.
because we have a lot of like stand-in doubles from the back, but sometimes it's like split screen and they're talking to each other.
Right.
It's pretty funny. And they fight. This fight scene goes so long because one of them has like a knife.
It's not really that sharp of a knife.
No,
right?
it looks like the letter opener. I think it is a letter opener.
I think it is a letter opener, yeah.
And the other one has what to me looks like a lamp base. Like it's very.
I think it's a thing for the fireplace, maybe.
Oh really? Oh, it's like it's like a lot of twisting and turning.
Yeah.
Metal, like iron rods or whatever.
Yeah.
And one of them is killed off screen.
Yeah.
So we don't see what's happening.
We don't know. But the struggle is real.
And also, at this point, the brother and the boyfriend go to the police station. They're like, "What are you talking about, you crazy idiots? There's nothing going on." And then he says, "But they cut her finger off." And the cops, when they were there, the doctor was like, "She went crazy last night and cut her own finger off." So now the cops finally believe them.
Yeah.
They are in hot pursuit. They're on their way to this. Everything's going down.
Yep.
Roddy McDowall and the doctor come back inside, and the evil twin is on the stairs.
With her hands in her pocket. Make
Yeah.
note of that.
Yeah, and she's like,
Yeah.
"Let's look for her. I'll bet she's in the house." So she and Roddy McDowall go upstairs, and she stabs him through the hand and then into the throat.
With that tiny letter opener.
It is pretty amazing because
Yeah.
right before he dies, Roddy McDowall gets to chew a bit of scenery when he's like, "Oh, you better kill her. You know what? If I had the chance, I'd kill her. How are you going to do it? Because I have some great suggestions for you."
Does it get so creepy?
Like, okay, man, relax. But he is soon killed.
Yeah, he's done for. Yeah. And
I
he's just left to lay. We get a nice shot of his upside downness, just laying with his hand on his throat and the little envelope knife, I'll call it, like stuck in between. Yeah.
So the doctor's still looking downstairs, and he lifts up, I don't know, cushions on something?
Oh, yeah, it's some kind of
It's like a little
bench.
storage area
Yeah.
under the couch or whatever. And
just in time, though, she comes down the stairs.
yes, and she's
Right?
like, "Oh, she's not upstairs. Don't look in there." And the doctor turns away, and we see yet another Mary Steenburgen corpse.
They're everywhere. There's two now in this house.
Yes, so there are two dead Steenburgens in this house, and he wheels himself over. And as we've said before, she's like, "Oh, I guess she got away or whatever." And this is when the doctor knows what's going on. So his piano starts playing.
Yeah. Well, her little hand peeks out because she's got the long fur coat that the mean sister's wearing, and her little hand pokes out, and you can see that she's got the bandaged up finger. So besides that she's been acting a little shady, he now sees the hand, and the heartbeat goes, and the piano plays, and she knows too that he's on to her, and man, this crippled man can get a walking and a chasing pretty fast. He
basically leaps out of that chair.
Yeah.
That was, it wasn't like, I'm gonna, no, he is out of that chair and on the stairs immediately.
And chases her up, they go all the way up to the attic.
Yeah. That's what I was like, is this all just a trick? Like, is he supposed to have a wheelchair? But we do see him hobbling around quite a bit, and he seems to have a heart problem.
You know that thing they say, like how you get that, like, that Superman energy?
Sure.
Like, if you're a mom and you have to save your kid.
You're going to lift a car off a baby.
Yeah. Maybe if you're him and you need to kill your last... I don't know. You just get that energy. It happens.
I don't know.
Does he see his friend dead? I feel like he sees
does.
his friend dead. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's very indifferent about it. He doesn't seem all that upset.
He couldn't defend himself.
Like, this is the part in these types of movies where I guess he has to kill her. I guess he has to, but at this point, he has lost. He doesn't know where the locker is for this key. His plan is in shambles. Like, we know he can walk. He can probably drive. He can probably get in that car and just take off. But he has to kill her.
He wants her dead. Yeah.
They chase each
She knows
other
too much.
through this house. He smashes the two-way mirror, chases her. We don't need to talk about a chase scene between a rail-thin Mary Steenburgen and a crippled elderly man. But it is lengthy. I have so many notes for this.
I was just going to say, but it goes on. It goes on for a minute, right?
Yeah, but it ends in the attic where he opens a closet and he's like, gotcha. And he starts beating a corpse.
Yeah.
With the fire poker. And she stabs him in the back.
And then he falls. Doesn't he fall into the bear trap?
Jamie, this scene reminded me. I don't know how many times you've seen The Naked Gun, but I've seen it 1,000 times. This scene so reminded me, and I want to know if who directed that, Jerry Zucker. I want to know if he saw this movie, because there is a scene where O.J. Simpson like kicks open a door to like stop a drug deal or something, and all the guys shoot him. So he gets shot like 20 times, and then he like falls over and he burns his hand on a hot stove, and then he like falls into a wedding cake, and then he backs up and he steps in a bear trap. Like, it seemed he gets stabbed and he walks into a bear trap. It seems like the weirdest possible way for this guy to die at the end of this movie.
But I love it because they set it up. Why did he have the bear trap up there the whole time? Because they pointed out.
Why does the guy give away goldfish? It all pays off at the end.
Does it? Does it?
And right when he dies, the attic door opens and her boyfriend comes in, and she is frazzled. Like, she doesn't even seem to recognize him. She doesn't seem to know what's going on. This movie ends with her in the back of a police car, and the camera just like zooms in so slowly on her face against the window of this police car. And Jamie, do you know what I wanted to have happen? I wanted her to smile.
Be strangled? Oh.
Because I wanted it to be that the evil sister won. That it was the evil. Like,
it was the evil
sister.
That's
what happened.
That would have been good.
I would have swore that is exactly how this movie was going to end. And like, she wrapped up her hand like she fake.
Oh, yeah.
Man, did I want that. I even watched the entire credit sequence waiting for like a weird
just to make sure there wasn't some kind of, but it doesn't. That wasn't how it panned out for you.
It doesn't, but I'm still not. That's a weird way to end this movie. It is such a weird, lengthy shot of her face against the window where I was like, oh, is that her? Are we supposed to wonder?
Well, you're supposed to wonder, is she thinking about her acting career? Is she going to continue? Is she just going to go and be an accountant?
Did this turn her off to the whole business? Oh, my God.
That is
Dead of Winter.
Dead of Winter. Oh. There you have it. You'd never seen it, I assume.
Oh, I'd never even heard of this.
No, same here. Same.
I kind of loved this movie. Like, I was...
Did you?
I was... like the way that I would watch a stupid Lifetime movie and probably be totally in on it. That's the way I like this. Like, it's not a good movie.
Right.
But I never checked my watch. There are movies we watch where I'm like, oh... when is this going to end? Or how much longer do I have? Or a movie where I figure out what's going to happen halfway through and I'm like, okay, let's just get this over with.
Let's get to it.
I was, for as many long pauses.
Well, even at the very end, you thought there was another twist.
Like, this movie takes a lot of long pauses where characters just walk around and wander and have lengthy conversations that don't mean anything. And for all that, I really enjoyed this movie.
You enjoyed it?
I did. What about you?
Meh.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was meh.
I could see that. Yeah.
I think maybe it was the doctor and the I like that there was some there was that suspensefulness
Yeah.
to it and everything like that. But some of the weird things, like maybe I didn't need to know she had a crippled boyfriend. Maybe that could have just been like, she's just an actress trying. Because what did he really do? Even at the end, he doesn't really save her.
No.
Right? I mean, the cops come, but they came the first time anyway. And there was just some oddness to it that made me,
No,
She does a great job, and
Yeah.
it was interesting enough film, I guess. But I didn't love it.
I agree completely. Like, you could cut the brother and her boyfriend out of this movie because
Yeah.
it could have ended with her stumbling out of the house to the car and driving away.
Yeah.
Like, there's no reason the police had to show up. There's no reason
Right.
any of that needed to happen.
No.
Well, I'm kind of glad I saw this movie.
I feel like you are. I'm glad for you. No, I honestly had never heard of it before. It was definitely different than. It wasn't the worst movie. I could sit through it, but I didn't love it. I don't know that I would watch it again.
You don't need to love it. I might watch it again to try and figure out if if Katie lived or if it was the evil sister.
You want to make sure you're got an eyebrow raised there.
And oh my God, I thought about this movie way too much when it was over. Because then I went, hey, you know what? When she was in the police car, she had the straight hair of the actress, so of course it was her. And then I went, but the evil girl was wearing a hat. We don't know what her hairstyle was.
Jeez.
Maybe it was the same.
Oh, jeez.
All right.
Maybe there was no sister. Maybe it was all just. Who knows?
So, Jamie, what would you recommend instead of watching this movie, I guess?
Had you ever seen the Netflix show The OA?
No. That doesn't even sound familiar.
It was kind of like pumped or like kind of advertised as like a more modern day
OC?
Oh, no. The fun one that everybody watches with the 80s nostalgia.
Freaks and Geeks?
No.
Stranger Things.
Yes,
so
because
wait, Netflix
it's got
has two Stranger Things shows?
Well, no, because it's not really Stranger Things. It's science fiction-y and that kind of thing. But she's the OA. I can't tell you what it stands for, but it's because you got to watch it. As it's woman, and she's got these kind of crazy powers, and she's taken hostage by a man in his basement.
Oh.
And he is running experiments on her and another group of people. So in that way, it reminded me of how this doctor was holding her sort of hostage.
Sure.
It really is excellent, I think. And I watched it in like 3 days, which you can just do with Netflix shows. Yeah. But it's very good, and I don't think as many people saw it because they were, it was more, people were more into Stranger Things. And I think it came out maybe 2 years ago, maybe not this past Christmas, the Christmas before that is when I watched it at least. But it's really good, and the actress in it, who I think is also the writer-creator, Britt something is her name, I should have researched it to tell you more, is really good. And I think they're making another season, but the first one is the one that's out there, and that you should watch instead, maybe, of Den of Winter.
Well, Jamie, just like your suggestions for the Things We Do in the Shadows, was that movie?
Oh, yeah, with the vampires?
And your suggestion for The Love Witch, both of which I really enjoyed. I am going to have to do the same thing with this and watch that show. And so should everybody listening.
Yeah.
My recommendation is a movie that I thought of immediately, very early on in this, because of the creepy, audition.
Okay.
Is the movie Audition from 1999. It's Japanese, and it is
you and your foreign
so great. Every now and then on this podcast, I get to talk about movies that I super love. This is one, because in this movie, it's about this middle-aged Japanese guy, and I don't know what he does. He must have something to do with movies. I forget. I haven't seen it in a while. But he, his wife died, and he needs to see somebody. So his friend suggests an open audition for actresses to come for a movie that's not real, and audition, and he will then look at these girls and kind of pick who he wants to date. It is super crazy.
Creepy, yeah.
And he finds this girl, and he's like, she's really great. And he starts to take her out to dinner, and they start to see each other.
Mm-hmm.
And you think that's what the movie is. And this movie, like, about an hour of this movie is that. And then a certain scene happens. I don't want to give anything away, but a certain scene happens like 2/3 of the way through this movie. And I was like, what just happened? Oh my God. And the whole rest of the movie is the craziest, scariest thing ever. It is such a great movie that completely changes. It isn't what you think it's going to be. And it's amazing. It's one of my favorite movies I've ever seen.
One of his favorites, guys.
Yes. So if you haven't seen Audition, watch it because it's great.
Check it out.
But if you don't like gross stuff or scary stuff, don't watch it.
Maybe avoid it. All right. All right. Good to know.
So, Jamie, in 2 weeks, we're going to shift gears a little bit. And I know this movie was kind of a taut psychological thriller. We're going to be celebrating the life of one Jonathan Candy.
Oh, John.
Because our next episode comes out on the anniversary of his death, which is depressing.
R.I.P. Yeah.
But we are going to watch a movie that he's not even in. Like, he's not even on screen in this movie. All he does in this movie is a voice, Jamie. And he does...
But a magical voice. So magical. Voice
of a horse. Because we are going to watch Hot to Trot, the movie with Bobcat Goldthwait and the voice of John Candy. We could have done so many other John Candy movies.
A Canadian,
of course he is,
which we know. Yeah. Now I'm just reading.
Okay, all right. Would you like to read this for our listeners?
I didn't know he had kids. He had 2 kids.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
2. It says children 2.
Well, that's probably right then. Children equals kids. 2 equals 2.
That's what that says. I am so excited about this movie, folks.
I know. I have a couple.
I don't think you are, but
just to tease the audience. I do have a couple
Uh-huh.
stories about this movie too.
I have several impersonations.
Oh,
This was a movie that I used to. When I was a kid, there was an entire summer that I would just quote this movie.
Oh my God.
And my mom would be like, enough with that fucking movie. Please. Like, stop. Because I would do the Bobcat Goldthwait. And his character, I can't. I'll prepare for when we record. But
so you would impersonate Bobcat Goldthwait, not the talking horse from this movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You were like, you know who I identify with? This psycho. Not the horse. Not the fun horse.
But I wanted a fun horse with the voice of John Candy. I was like, this is what the stuffed dreams are made of, people.
All right. So that is going to be in 2 weeks. We'll watch Hot to Trot. Everybody follow us on Twitter. We're at GTGMcast. Go to Facebook. Jamie, I made us an Instagram account.
What?
And I know you're on there.
That's awesome. I should follow us.
You should follow us on Instagram.
Wait, you should tell me. I'll post on it for us.
I followed you. I get stuff from Little Hippie or whatever you're called. Little Italian Hippie. Whatever.
I am so bad at technology.
Listen,
I am the worst.
I was like, nobody made an Instagram of us just with dog balls, which we told people to do. So I was like, I'll just make one for us. So I made a legit one.
All right. Well, we're gonna play around with that. I gotta.
All right.
How do I? I'll do that when we're not recording.
I've been using it for 3 days. You don't know how to follow us. Anyway, find us on Instagram, people. We're there now. And if you think we're worth $1 of your time, that's your money. Go to patreon.com/goodtimesgreatmovies. There's lots of good stuff there. And before we start recording, we talked about what our next bonus episode is going to be. And
so we know. It's
I
so
am
good.
smiling just thinking about the movie we're going to watch. And neither of us have seen it. We're so excited.
And it's got Tony Danza. That's amazing.
Right, let's just say Tony Danza, we'll leave it at that. He only made 3 movies in the 80s, so you have a pretty good chance of
Tony
finding
Danza,
the one.
and this one doesn't include gorillas. At least I don't think so. Or monkeys.
So wait, if this one includes a monkey, 2/3 of the movies he made in the 80s include monkeys.
He's an animal lover, T. Danza.
All right, everybody, we will talk to you in 2 weeks. Go out,
That's right.
watch Hot to Trot, or just imagine what it would be like. Because you're probably imagining something pretty close to the movie. All right, we'll talk to you then. Bye.
My baby took
Free goldfish with every $10 purchase.
I might have to pour a little more wine for myself.
Oh my, wow.
Just because we're about to be in the dead of winter.
Too much steam virgin for you.
Just so much. 3 roles she plays. Hold on.